Hello, vocalists and music lovers. My name is Christina Singh, and I'm from the band Destinique. Welcome to our music inspiration series, Future Live Musicians. In this episode, we're going to show you how to make your voice stand out using a vocal effects pedal. I'm going to show you how to use reverb, delay, doubling, tuning, gating, and compression with the TC Helicon Voice Live pedal. This unit has been on stage with us for over 200 shows, from small parties to large arenas. It always sounds amazing, and it is super reliable. I'll be demonstrating this pedal with some of our own songs, so you can listen along. Feel free to use the presets I show you and have fun. Future Live Musicians, let's go. From studio to stage. I just want to inspire you first without getting into much detail. So let's hit the mic and sing some songs and see how this thing sounds. This is our song called I Feel the Love. It's a big kind of pop dance track.
Take me to the major from the minor, perfect in the life that you inspire, lovely the way. Now I'm awake, I feel the love, I feel the love.
Some parts I want to sound extra juicy on this song, so I have a delay patch.
Tonight, I feel the love.
For this next example, I'm going to show you a setting that if you are doing pop or trap vocals and you have lots of syllables going on, that might work for you, because you can't use too much reverb if you're telling a story like that. You want to be front and center. Also, I have a really small, just slappy delay, so it's not like traveling on and making your voice sound really muddy while it's echoing on top of it. So let's check it out. I'll sing a little bit of the verse and then put the hit button on for those lower octaves for the chorus.
Heat of the summer on a handlebars, dreaming of money and faster cars, playing the game, feeding every flame, but this one, take me back to the first spark, before the money and the fast cars, one kiss and a fresh start, I'd give it all to have nothing but you again.
This next one is our song called When You Love Somebody. It's kind of a mid-tempo pop track. Actually, for this example, let me show you a little bit of what it would sound like without it.
When you love somebody more than yourself, you're invincible and ready to be brave.
And now listen to When You Love Somebody with the juice.
When you love somebody more than yourself, you're invincible and ready to be brave. When you love somebody more than yourself, it's so beautiful, you give it all away.
At the end of this song, I usually have a big note that I sing that propels me from the bridge into the last chorus. It's super long, so I add some wetness to it to make it really stand out.
When you love somebody, you're ready to be brave. When you love somebody more than yourself, it's so beautiful, you give it all away.
All right, this is another fun one. Tons of effects on it.
Wanna see you move your body now. Wanna see you move your body. Wanna see you move your body now. Move your body to the beat right now.
This is our song called Up So High. It's a big trance track, so I have it really ethereal and really thick sounding.
Oh, up so high, I don't wanna come down. Will you break my fall? Don't wanna touch the ground.
If you're loving this content and you're finding it useful, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us help you on your journey to the stage. Let's get this baby powered on. This unit doesn't have an on and off button. It is just powered on when you plug it in. Plug it in there, screen should light up. Then you take an XLR cable, plug it into the mic in, take the other end of that cable and plug it into your mic. Take some headphones and plug them into there. You wouldn't really use headphones out of this live. This is just for you to start playing around with it at home. Now, if you want to record your rehearsals, which I highly encourage you to do, take two XLR cables, plug them into the right out, left out, and then take the other end and go into your mixer or your sound interface. These two cables are also the same ones that you would send to your sound tech to get to the front of house. Okay, so the next thing you need to do when you first get this unit is to sound check your mic level input. So I have ours taped off here because you don't really want to get this knocked on stage and have it go too quiet or too loud. So for sound check, you might want to just hold down this hit button, which bypasses all of the effects. So just you're working with the clean signal here. See how it's tickling the green? So that means you're getting a good level. And now you want to overdrive it and just back it off to where it needs to be. I'm too loud. So your loud notes, the loudest notes, you should be only going to orange and never red. Red means you're clipping. Now that you have it plugged in and you can hear yourself, let's go through setting this up. So you set it up with global settings first. Global settings just stay, they set and forget. They allow you to get a nice, clean, powerful signal before you even start adding effects. Setup. If you want to change anything, just push the button right next to it and then use this toggle wheel, right? So for input, I have dynamic mic. Room sense, I have ambient. The guitar is at 12 dB. Sometimes I do play guitar. Mic control, not applicable. I set my tone style to normal. Normal tone style adds compression and gating. Compression levels the vocal out and makes sure your vocal sits in the mix. It brings all the quiet stuff up and the super loud stuff down. Gate takes a lot of the ambient noise out of the signal. So like any ruffling in the room or like the guitar player plugging in his thing over there, it can get really messy and muddy in the mix. So consider a gate like a door. It won't open up unless you give it enough signal. Pitch correction, I have it set at 30%. Output, I have it at stereo. Vocal cancel, I turn it off. Lead mute is off. USB out level is 0 dB. Headphone limiter is at -5 dB. LCD contrast, I just have it at 1. Function up and down looping. Lead delay none. Tune reference is 440. Pitch pipe level is at 0. Aux in type is tracks. Global key is off, global tempo is off. This is really important because you are gonna go in and set tempos and keys for certain songs. Global guitar effects are on. Guitar gate is off at the moment. Mic boost is low. Room sense low cut is at 45 Hertz. Input is lead plus guitar. Undo is on. Loop feedback is at 0%. MIDI chain 3. CC chain 2. Split drive is above. Filter is none. Transpose is at 0. Split note is C-1. Sussexed, I think that's what that says, is 1. PB range is 2. MIDI control is merge. Control custom. Hard moment off. Delay moment off. Switch 1 is set to verb. Switch 2 is set to guitar delay. Switch 3 is set to loop, record, play. I don't use this unit for looping, so I think those are just inoperable at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. And that's it. Please feel free to go research and learn as much about this unit as possible. Today, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of what every button does because it would take hours. I just want to inspire you with some of our settings and get you up and going. When you first get the unit, it's going to come with a bunch of presets. I advise you to go in and sing into a couple, see what's inspiring, and then find a preset that you think sounds pretty good and then copy it to an empty preset. Here, TGIF. I think this one emulates Katy Perry's TGIF song. If it's good enough for her, it's good enough for us. Yeah, 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 yeah. Pretty inspiring. And then I advise you to store it somewhere else. Store, press it once. Then you go to the number you want to store it to. So for now, let's store it to 241. Press store. and then go back to store because you want to rename it. So if you want to rename it, go to setup. It lets you toggle through the letters. So let's name it FLM for Future Live Musicians. F. Store again. Okay. Now you have a new preset. And now let's go in, talk about some of this stuff. Vocal delay is an echo of your voice. The notes that you make are repeated back to you. The longer you want them to keep repeating back to you, the higher you dial the feedback. In this preset, they have it off. So here, you want to turn it on. You also have another option to have a hit button. So it's off until you hit this button. For this, we're going to leave it on. Okay, -10 is too much. I usually have mine set around -30 for just stock singing verses and stuff. Feedback, maybe around 40%. You can also play with the rhythm that you want it to slap back to you. So right now it's set to quarter. You can toggle through different types of slaps. That's a quarter. But you can also play with lots of different timing. Faster. Oh, So if you want to change the type of delay you're using, press this effect button down. It'll bring you to this screen. Changing the effect. Go to there, highlight that. Also very important, if you're going to use delay, set it to the tempo of your song. So go to tempo, find out what BPM you're at. It just keeps the slaps in time. If you're happy with it, store, and then go back into effects to go to another page. Let's go to the reverb page. Reverb is the persistence of sound after it happens. It decays after it's absorbed by surfaces. It allows your voice to blend in with the music around it by filling in the spaces between the notes. Big reverb can make you sound really far away, and no reverb will make you sound super close up. Let's explore the type of reverbs that are available in this box. So use the toggle to give you different settings. I just like to use a bright plate most of the time. A bright plate sounds nice, but I have the level set pretty low. Okay. All right, store. Let's go to the harmony page. There you go. Harmonies add texture to your voice and thickness. When you get to the stage, you want to kind of emulate that recorded sound as much as possible. So you want to add thickening harmonies when you can. It is very important if you're going to be using harmonies to, you can either use auto key, but I like to be a little more precise because I like to use tuning as well. So this is where you set the key of your song. If you're using tuning, this harmony page, even if you're not using harmonies, this is where you're going to set your key. So. Hey, let's explore some of these settings. All right, so sometimes you just want a thicker signal, and there's lots of options for doubling here. One voice really tight. And then I also like to use octave lower. I'm singing a chorus where I want some more thickening. I got an octave lower thickening me. You can also do octaves up. Two voices doing an octave down. Let's go to the tuning page. Okay, so tuning is just that. It tunes your vocals live. This box is actually really great real time. But listen, this is not going to be the savior for all your tuning problems. You have to actually be pretty precise. or else it'll go to the next wrong note. It won't sound good. You still have to sing in tune. This just tucks you up to the note. Everyone is really, really used to hearing things sounding gridded on the radio. So the first one that I gave you is pop.
I tune my vocals, but it kind of sounds synthetic, so I'm not sure if I should use this. Tuning all the time.
Country Gliss. Now this, if you do want an auto-tune kind of effect, it's a little bit less jumpy than that pop one.
You invite me into your soul. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The robot one will make you sound like a robot.
All right, this is the one that I use. So remember, if you're gonna use natural tuning, this will go to the scale that you're in. So remember, you have to set the key that you're gonna sing in harmony mode, okay? So I already set it to the key of C.
Hey, hey, hey. Na, 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 na. So turn it off. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. On. Hey, 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 na 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 na.
So it's almost barely recognizable. It's there helping you along. Here is chromatic. I don't really use chromatic. You could. I think it's kind of unpredictable. Let's go to the next page, and this is the transducer. It's kind of like having a megaphone. This one brings out the punk rock side in me. Hey, 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 hey. There's this one. Hello, hello. I'm like Britney Spears in the 90s. Yeah. I don't use this one very often because I find that it does make the mic feedback a lot on stage. This is the guitar page. The Voice Live Play allows you to plug your guitar in. If you do want to use a guitar, plug it into this instrument input. The last thing I want to cover is this bypass to talk. If you hold it down, it bypasses the effects for when you want to talk. So hey, I'm finished singing my song. Hold it down. It turns off the effects so you can talk, tell a story to the audience without it being all washy. Hit it, everything comes back on. I can't stress this enough. To get the most out of this unit, record your rehearsals, listen to what it sounds like, and then go back and tweak and adjust. Keep tweaking that recipe until you get the sauciest vocals you can. Just a quick note on sound checking this unit live. Always make sure to check kind of a less wet patch and then a really wet patch to make sure that you give the sound tech the scope of what you're going to be doing. Sometimes some of these effects add a lot of top end and it can make your mic feedback in the middle of your set, and you don't want to have that happen. You want to have that happen at sound check and then correct any EQing that needs to happen. All right, thank you so much for watching this episode all the way till the end. I hope you've been inspired and you go out and get one of these units. TC Helicon also makes some other stuff too, but you can also find ones from all ranges of producers. I mean, look, it's up to you how you want to sound on stage. If you want to leave things up to chance or take matters into your own hand, get a unit, do some pre-production, and you know what? It's not only going to make you sound better, it's fun. It's fun to produce your vocals, okay? So pick one up. See you on stage soon. Feature live musicians. Let's go from studio to stage.